everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. So my next book review is going to be very brief, and it's only because it's very hard to explain. And that is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I have read her YA, Sky in the Deep, which I really loved. So of course I was like really excited for this, and it's gorgeous and I love it. And it's very confusing, and that's because I'm just gonna come out and say it, like, this book is about time travel. Like, that was the first, I think I was like 30 pages in, and like June's grandmother mentions being in two places at once, and I was like, time travel, this is what's gonna happen. So basically June Farrow comes from a long line of Farrow women who basically go mad, and like it's inevitable, like every single one of them ends up like going crazy. And they end up seeing this red door, and it's said that at some point every Farrow woman will walk through the red door. So hence the red door. So yeah, let's just get into it. Like, it's very confusing. So I guess we should start off with that this is a paradoxical loop, and I hate these because they're so hard to explain, but like if you think about it long enough, like, it makes sense. So it's like you can only go through the door 3 times, and like once you go through that 3rd time, like, you're done for. And you can only, when you go through the door, you can only go somewhere where you've never been, because that's just the rules. And so like in 1912, her mother goes through the door and ends up in 1912, and she gets pregnant, and then she sends June back through the door. So she's been through the door once. And then in 1946, an older version of June arrives, and then 4 years later, that June leaves. So yeah, so that's her 3rd time going through. And she goes through to 2021, where a younger version of herself is already existing. So that June basically ceases to exist. And so her memories are slowly being mixed with the younger June that we meet in 2023. And so younger June goes through the door at 1951. And it's so confusing, because it's like the older version of June has had a baby and is like, does not want this, named Annie, who does not want this to happen to her daughter. So she starts devising a plan to basically end the Farrow woman curse. Like, she's going to end this curse so her daughter never has to experience it. So she plots with the younger June comes through, plots this with a younger version of Annie, who is Birdie, who is like her grandmother's best friend or whatever. It's, like I said, it is super hella confusing, because it's like the older June left clues for the younger June, so she would go through the door and then plot this with Annie, so that way the younger June would be able to go back through the door, and it's just like a paradoxical loop, like it keeps continuing, like keeping timelines and everything. And again, it's so confusing. That's why I put that Eamon, her husband, older June's husband, is and June are River and Doctor coded. So it's like, because I knew as soon as she went through the door and Eamon was like, June, and she was like, who are you? I have no idea who you are. And I was like, this is like the Doctor and River all over again. So when like the 10th Doctor meets River for the first time, and she's like, hello, sweetie. And he's like, who the hell are you? Like, I have no idea who you are, but she knows everything about him. So that's like, Eamon knows everything about June. June has no idea who he is, and has no idea who this girl is. She has a sneaking suspicion that it's her daughter, but she's never physically had her. The older version of her had her. And I was like, oh my god, Adrienne Young, are you reading my Doctor Who fanfiction? Because in one of my fanfictions, like, an older version of my character gets transported back to the 10th Doctor, and the 10th Doctor is like, I have no idea who you are, but he ends up meeting a younger version of her later when she goes back to her original timeline. So I was like, Adrienne Young, have you been reading my Doctor Who fanfiction? Because I feel like you might have been, or you like Doctor Who. I'm not sure. But like another part of this book is that there's a murder mystery. So when June comes through, the younger June comes through the door at 1951, there's like, it's been like a year or so since she's went missing, and people were like, oh, like the Farrow women and Eamon came up with this idea that she was visiting an aunt who was sick, and now her aunt is better, and so she's back. And they're investigating a murder of a pastor who ends up being June's biological father. And yeah, there's a whole thing with that. And I was like, so not long after June went missing, the older June that went through the door, something happened. And Eamon is acting all suspicious, and the Farrow women won't tell her what happened. And I was like, did he murder Nathaniel, or did June do it and they're trying to cover it up? And it turns out that June did murder Pastor Nathaniel, whatever his last name is, because he was trying to murder her because he thought that she was like a demon come back to haunt him or something. And I was just like, okay, I did not care for the murder mystery part, could not care less about that. Loved the relationship between June and Eamon. Like, Adrienne Young, I'm gonna need you to get to work on a prequel to this, because I need the story between older June and Eamon. I need the details. I need the receipts. I need more of this couple. I would definitely read more, because I know that I think Sky in the Deep and the Sea that the Girl of the Sea gave back, and then her Fable and Saint series, I think are all in the same like universe, I believe. But those are all YA. So if she wrote another book in like this universe, I would definitely read it, because it's one of those that it's very hard to explain, but like I loved it at the same time. Kind of one of those that it's like, oh my god, I'm so confused, like tell me more type things. So yeah, that was my incredibly rambly and very complicated review of The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, and I will see you guys later.